Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today we are going to be doing my August TBR. So, a couple of things. Number one, my two eyes are uneven, and you're not going to talk about it. Okay? Okay. Number two, at the point of filming this, it is now the 5th of August. I filmed my spins like 2 weeks ago, but I'm only now filming this part, and it is the 5th of August, and I have not read a single book yet. And considering it's Magical Readathon month, and one of the prompts I was thinking of going for is 14 books, I think we can probably say that's not happening. So yeah, but let's get into the spins. Okay, so this is a bit of a weird angle. I hope you forgive me, but basically I'm kind of in a bit of a rush, and the only way I'm getting this done is if I don't set it up properly. So you're getting a weird angle. Maybe if I put you up a little higher, that might help. Okay, so I think this might be maybe a little bit better now. So last month I finished the game, so we're back to the start. So I guess let's just see how many spins we're doing this month. 9. Great. Spin number 1. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, an adult fantasy. So spin number 1 was an adult fantasy, and for this one I am actually going to be going with a reread, and I'm going to go with A Dark Shade of Magic by E. Schwab. Okay, so I actually own multiple editions of A Dark Shade of Magic, but I brought this one over because this is probably the one that I'm going to read because it's a nice floppy paperback, and it's the one I always read. This is my favorite series of all time. I'll actually leave a video link down below where I went through my all-time favorite series, and this is number 1. This is number 1. I don't necessarily think this would be my favorite series if I read it for the first time today, but it was the very first adult fantasy series I read. It is very much character driven. I loved the characters when I first read it. As I said, it was my first introduction to adult fantasy. I read it during a kind of stressful time, and it kind of just means a lot because of that. I do think I would still like or love the story if I read it for the first time today, but I don't necessarily think it would be like an all-time favorite. But I reread this at least every single year. There was one year where I read it twice, but it's usually once every year. And obviously the Fragile Threads of Power is coming out, I think, the last week of September. I have it pre-ordered. I'm so excited, and I have been waiting for it since I first read this series because it was announced all the way back then. Like, she had said, I'm gonna do more books in this series, but it just never seemed to be happening, and it's finally happening. So I'm starting my reread, and so for adult fantasy I'm choosing A Dark Shade of Magic. I didn't tell you what this is about because I kind of just assume if you're here you know. But this follows Kel, and he's an Antari, and that means he can travel through the different Londons, and there are 4 parallel Londons, though one of them has died because they basically used too much magic. So there's Grey London, White London, and Red London. Red London is Kel's London. It is kind of a perfect balance between humanity and magic, whereas Grey London, which would be our London, is very much separated from magic. And then White London, it's too close to Black London, and so they're slowly losing their magic. Kel, he is supposed to only be a messenger between the kings of all of these different Londons, but on the side he does a small bit of smuggling, and one day he smuggles the wrong thing, and he kind of sets off a chain reaction that follows the entire series. But I love the series. I'm so excited for my reread, and yeah, I'm probably gonna like devour these in like a weekend, and I might vlog them if you would be interested in like a spoiler filled, because like it's gonna be spoiler filled. Like maybe I could do nearly some sort of like recap vlog. Spin number 2. A 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so okay, we're gonna go down here. So that's 8, 9. So for spin number 2 we got blank, and I still haven't decided exactly what way I want to do this prompt. I used to do it with a spinning wheel, then I used to just pull them out of a jar, but now all the prompts in the jar are out of date, and I don't want to write more prompts. So I'm going to just random number generate all the books that are on my physical TBR. So not including sequels to books that I haven't already read. So for example, like I'll include Saint's Blood by Sebastian de Castell, but I won't include Tyrant's Throne. So I'm gonna do a quick count. Okay, so I think there's 12, which seems very low. But I guess, no, I suppose that's right because there's a lot of sequels. So 1 to 12 and generate 12. Okay. I don't think I want to read that though. I mean, I do and I don't. Because I need to read it for a video. But also, I don't really want to read it. Like, no, I need to read it. I need to read it. Okay, it's fine. So, let me go get it. Okay, so for this one, I went for The Shadow Glass by Ringe Pecco. So this is the third and final book in the Bone Witch series. I have mixed opinions on this. I gave the first one a 4, the second one a 3. And I do feel like I am slightly unfair to this series because of the fact that I left such a big amount of time between the first and the second. But I do want to read this book, number 1, to finish off the series, and number 2, I do want to do a ranking all of Ringe Pecco's books, and I have 2 more books that I need to read. I need to read this, and I need to read the sequel to Wicked As You Wish. Yes, so it follows T. She is a bone witch, and bone witches, basically, they can kind of control the dead, and she gets taken away to learn how to use her powers. The main bulk of the story is her being taken away to learn how to use her powers, but we also have a flash forward where there is a scribe who is writing down his story, and we know that like something has gone wrong and she is kind of turned against the kingdom, and so it is all leading up to us seeing that happen. So yes, so I'm cautiously optimistic about this. Spin number 3. A 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A middle grade. So then book number 3 is going to be a middle grade, and at first I was like, okay, 1 middle grade, that's fine. I can make this work. I actually really can make this work because I'm going to read The Red Pyramid by Rick Riordan. This is book 1 in the Kane Chronicles, and it's actually quite floppy. I actually do need to read this for a video. Basically, if you are new to my channel, I do videos where I revisit my book hauls from 2021 and 2022. I have nothing left from 2020. And I revisit like every 3 months. And right now in August, I'm supposed to be doing my next round. I'm pretty sure there are only 3 books that I have not yet read from August of 2021 and 2022, and that is the entire Kane Chronicles. So I'm probably going to do an entire dedicated Kane Chronicles reading vlog, so you can look forward to that, I guess. I'm again another series that I'm kind of like I'm not sure about because I love the Percy Jackson series. I do. I love it. I like the Heroes of Olympus, but I just don't think it is the same. And so I'm very nervous because this doesn't even have Percy in it. It has to do with Egyptian mythology. I am a little nervous that they're chunky, but I should be fine. Spin number 4. $10. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So then prompt number 4 was a book that I own, and for this I'm going to continue with my V.E. Schwab reading, and so I'm going to choose A Gathering of Shadows. Obviously this is the sequel to A Dark Shade of Magic. I'm going to try and read the entire series, as I said, in the entire month. I don't really need to go through the synopsis again, but this is the sequel. I'm intrigued to see this time what my favorite book will be, because every single time I read this series I have a different favorite. Spin number 5. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's blank again. So then we have another blank, and for this one, again, we're gonna just do a random number generator. So this time we're gonna take a number out because done one. So that's 11, right? Let's do this again. And then generate. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh no. I mean, I do want to read that, but it doesn't fit into any of the plans that I have for this month. And it's The 100,000 Kingdoms by N.K. Jemisin. So let me go get that. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I did consider just going again and trying to get Ashes of the Sun by Django Weckler, because I have the audiobook for that. And I'm kind of in a bit of an audiobook mood, whereas I don't have the audiobook for this one. But I decided it would be honest. So we're going to do The 100,000 Kingdoms by N.K. Jemisin. I actually had plans to read this last month, but then it never happened. It's actually not too long though. It is only like 400 pages, so that's grand. And the text is a decent size. So I don't really actually know what the plot of this is. An outcast from the barbarian north, her mother dies under some mysterious circumstances. She is summoned to the majestic city of Sky. She is named the heiress to the king, but the throne is not easily won, and she's thrust into a power struggle. Like, this does sound fairly standard, but I mean, it's N.K. Jemisin, so I'm pretty sure it's not going to be standard. Okay, so spin number 6. That was a bad spin. 2. 1, 2. Steal a book off someone else's TBR. So spin number 6 was from another person's TBR, and this one, I really struggled with this one because all of my friends, they're not reading books I want to read, which is very rude of them. Okay, that's technically not true. I could very easily have gone for this prompt. I could have gone with Grey Sister by Michael Lawrence, which I need to read because it's the next book for the Backlist Book Club. But I'm pretty sure that the live show for that isn't going to be until like mid to late September. So there's no point in me reading it in August. So I'm like guaranteed to fail my TBR if I put that on my TBR. So I decided, no, I'm not going to do that. So I kept looking, and then I knew I could trust in Sarah from Voyage Through Us. because on her TBR, she put Labrinths Heart by M.A. Carr, which I'm pretty sure she's already read and gave 5 stars to. But it is the final book in the Brook and the Rose series. The first book is Mask of Mirrors, and the second one is The Liar's Knot. When I first picked this up, like, I heard like it was incredible world building and, you know, super character driven, but a bit slow. I was like, okay, I'm so intrigued. And I was like, I'm gonna give this 5 stars. I just know it. And then I read it, and I was kind of disappointed by this. I gave it a 4 stars, but it was like a low 4 stars. I actually only read it this year, which is kind of crazy to me, but it was in like January. It is one of my lower 4 stars of the year, and I just didn't love it, and I expected to absolutely adore it. And so I was a bit let down. But then I read The Liar's Knot, and I was obsessed. I was genuinely obsessed by it. I don't know what happened. Because it's not as though something like super fascinating or anything happened. It's just, I got about 100 pages in, and all of a sudden it kind of just clicked for me. Like, just the characters. They just started working for me. And I just started loving. So the series follows Ren, and she is a bit of a con artist. So she used to be a part of a gang, but she's no longer there. And so she kind of fled with her sister, and they kind of started small cons, and also they were working as like maids and all of this. And then she makes her way back to the city where she was born. And she decides to impersonate a noblewoman, and she makes her way into a noble house, but she kind of discovers that this noble house is not as well off as she originally thought, and so she kind of ends up helping them to find themselves in a better financial position. Then spin number 7? I've lost count. 1. Another middle grade. Okay, so I can't land on any of the orange spots. So then I got another middle grade prompt, and at first, what am I supposed to read a second middle grade book? And I was like, King Chronicles book 2. Easy as. So this is The Throne of Fire. I think this is book 2. I'm not really 100% sure which order they go in, but I think it's this one's next. Okay, spin number 8. 2. Okay, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So then we had Released After 2015, and for this one I'm gonna go with Saint's Blood by Sebastien Castel. So this was originally released in 2016, I believe, and I want to read this because I want to continue the series, but there's also another reason, magical readathon wise, for why I want to read it. So because it basically has a shield on the cover, which I'm not even sure I'm doing that prompt anymore, but it's better to have it than not, because in her dress there's a shield, there's a dude, there's a knight, I presume. So yeah, I don't love this series as much as I thought I would. I thought this would be like a all-time favorite series, but it's not. I like it, it's solid, but it's nothing that like I absolutely adore. And I am intrigued to see how things will play out based on how the last book ended. This series follows Falkio, and he is one of the Greatcoats. And the Greatcoats were basically the king's men, but the king then got overthrown, and so all of the Greatcoats are kind of looked down upon. And they all got given like a final message and order, and Falkio has spent the past however many years trying to figure out what his means. And so it follows 3 of them as they try and figure out what their quest was, but they run into a lot of problems along the way, including getting accused of murder. And then I think this is our final spin. A 2 again. Oh, have I landed on 3 2s? Oh, I'm gonna have to check. Oh no, I'm landing on an orange anyway. 1 2. Okay, so I'm gonna have to add another spin. So that's great. And so then we landed on adult, and this is not going to surprise you. I'm going to go with A Conjuring of Light by V. Schwab. This one is chunky, but I mean, can I read this in a day? Yeah, I can. I'm so excited for the next book. I'm so excited. So, spin number 10. Okay, I'm going to do that again. 3. Again, I don't know if that's a safe number. I really should have been writing these down. 1 2 3. At least we can get off this island now. So, next time I start the game, I'll be starting over in the city over here, which I don't even think you can see. It's over there. And then our last prompt, our little bonus one, was Fictional World. And for this one, I'm going to go with Blood Over Brighthaven by Emma Wang. And this one, I actually got an e-arc of it because I'm one of her Patreons. And it is also available on Kindle Unlimited now. So Emma Wang wrote The Sword of Kaigan, which I read in May, and I loved. I gave it 5 stars. Absolutely adored it. And this is her next standalone. I've heard brilliant things so far, and I think it might actually be a bit of a school setting, but I don't really know what the plot is, so I'm going into it surprised. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.